Hello, this is Curtis Crow, Crow Studios, and today we're going to talk about my experience with BorrowLenses. Now, before we get started, I want to say that BorrowLenses is an extremely reputable brand. They have a huge following, and honestly, they couldn't build the company, or empire, I should say, that they had today if it wasn't for good customer service, good products, and a good service. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is my experience, my personal experience with BorrowLenses, and how good or bad it was. Now, I got to say, the service itself is phenomenal. The ideal, the concept to be able to borrow high-end lenses without actually dipping $3,000 into each lens, $2,000 into each lens, is definitely huge, especially when you're starting off as a photographer. Now, although I've been established for a few years now, my photography, unfortunately, my gear had to take a step back when all my stuff was stolen back in April. Now, that being said and done, as some of you may already know, it's done. But I still had a wedding to do, and I had a responsibility because I was contractually obligated to provide for that wedding, and I didn't have a camera and I didn't have lenses. So what I did was I was able to drop a little money into a Canon 70D, and I rented the rest of my gear. Now, when I started with BorrowLenses, I actually created the account months and months and months ago, like back in October. So my first time using it was, I believe, in May when I actually placed the order, and it was a relatively easy process. There was a verification process that I had to go through. That was a little annoying only because they were telling me that I had to get it done by a certain time in order to get it on time, which is no big deal because, you know, there's red tape and all that other stuff. But my problem was that they offered a phone number for me to call, and when I called, it went to a voicemail. And one, for a big company, going to somebody's voicemail, I just seemed was odd. And also, I never got a call back. I eventually did get verified, and I did get verified on time, but I never got my call back. And as a company, that just seems weird, and I didn't like that at all. So that kind of tarnished, in my opinion, that kind of tarnished my reputation because, in my opinion, you know, customer communication is very important. So, needless to say, we did that. The lenses came in on time, which was great, but that's more or less FedEx's fault than anything. And they came in on time, and from my personal experience, I just tossed the lenses into my bag, went to the wedding, and when I went to go pull them out for the wedding, my second shooter was there, and she wanted the 24-70, which is a very good wedding lens. So she was making the right choice in that, but when I was pulling it out, the focal grip, the rubberized focal grip, was off the lens. It was still there in the bag, but it was off the lens, completely detached. It was completely separated. And the bride saw me pull it out, pull the camera out, look at my second shooter, and she's like, "Is everything okay over there?" And of course, you cannot let your client see you sweat. So I said, "Yep, everything's okay." Slapped it right back on, and it was functional, but it kept sliding. It was annoying, and I didn't like that. But now, granted, they are used lenses, and they are supposed to have a little wear and tear, a little character on them. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But from my personal experience, that happened, and then the bride saw it, and that was just unneeded stress for both myself and the bride, because you don't want to give the bride the sensation or the feeling or the thought that her photographer's gear is just falling apart on her big day. That's terrible. So the day goes on, and everything works okay. Now, unfortunately, I do believe the lenses, after getting them into the computer and actually editing them, it looked like a lot of them were missing focus, even though I was using the Canon 70D, which, I mean, granted, it's a cheaper DSLR, but the autofocusing systems on it's pretty good for a crop body. And when I looked at them, and a lot of them were missing, and some of them were, you know, it just felt like a lot of back focusing issues. So I wasn't able to actually verify whether they had back focusing issues. But in my opinion, from seeing what my hit to miss ratio was on focus, it looked like there were some consistently back focusing issues, because it always seemed like it was focusing. One lens was always focusing too far, and the other one was just missing a lot. And that was something that I felt like the QA team, quality assurance, should have maybe picked up on. But again, this is just, I'm not 100% sure if that's what the case was. It's just from my experience, that's what I was seeing with those lenses. And I've used those lenses in the past, and they're always tack sharp, and they're always spot on. So I thought that was rather peculiar. And then the thing that bothered me the most was I shipped it back, and they said, thank you for returning this back in excellent condition. And I thought to myself, wait a second, that wasn't in excellent condition. I wasn't worried about the focal length ring, rubberized ring falling off because I knew I had the damage protection. So they thought it was in okay condition, which makes me think, in my opinion, that they're going to send that off to the next photographer, and they're going to say, oh, it's in excellent condition. The next photographer is going to get it, and he's going to be like, why is this falling off? And he might even have a worse experience with it. So I don't trust, in my opinion, I do not trust their quality assurance. Am I going to still use them again? Yes. Could this have been a freak accident? Yes. This is just one situation that I had, and it was my experience from it. It was my takeaway from it, was that I did not like my first experience. And if I have another bad experience, I'm probably not going to be a returning customer, because that's $350 I rented that could have gone to another premium lens. Now, granted, $350 is not even going to get you a premium lens. It's not even going to get you probably a mediocre lens. But it's still $350 I could have reinvested into gear, advertisement, anything like that. So this is just my experience. Let me know what your experience was. I'm probably going to use them again, but again, I'm never going to buy anything from them, because if that's what their QA is, in my opinion, doesn't cut it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you.